Welcome back for part 2 of academic language for children in diverse classrooms. Sorry, I ran out of time in the last presentation, so this will be in 2 parts. So academic language is demanding because it is abstract, it is decontextualized or unfamiliar, it's dense, and it's culturally embedded. Many multilingual learners understand concepts long before they can express them in academic English. This is why scaffolding matters so much. We are not lowering our expectations, we are increasing access. So a child may understand evaporation perfectly during a science experiment, but they may only say, "water go away." It's the teacher's role to build the bridge toward the water evaporated into the air. Some scaffolds for academic language development. So scaffolds are temporary supports that help children participate in rigorous learning before they can do it independently. Good scaffolds maintain cognitive challenge while reducing language barriers. So some examples might be visuals, gestures, sentence frames like we looked at last week, modeling, partner discussions, and graphic organizers. Bad scaffolds remove thinking. Good scaffolds support thinking. Outside. An example would be, instead of simplifying science content, support access through providing visuals and structured talk. So sentence stems and frames. We started talking about these when we were together last week, but here are some specific examples. For kindergarten, I noticed blank. Maybe grade 1, I agree with blank because blank. And grade 2, one difference between blank and blank is blank. So these are examples of sentence stems and frames where you really want children to be able to have the syntax and sentence structure to participate in academic dialogue. And maybe you want them to focus on the vocabulary. So if you give them the sentence frame, I notice, that allows them to use that vocabulary in context. And the same with the grade 1 and grade 2 example. These frames help students practice their academic syntax repeatedly. When students respond, we can expand their language naturally. So expanding student language might look like a student saying, "the dog ran fast," to the teacher rephrasing as, "yes, the dog ran quickly across the yard." Another example might be, the student says he's mad. The teacher might reframe it as, "yes, he feels frustrated because his tower fell down." When you use language like this, you're validating the child's utterance or their sentence, right? You're modeling vocabulary, you're expanding syntax, and you are deepening emotional language. And so it's important that you always validate what the child has said before you add on to it. And never shame a child for their sentence structure. You just want to model what syntax and sentence structure will look like at a higher level. Best practices for multilingual learners are often simply best practices for all learners. I know that we said that last week. I'm going to keep saying it. Some best practices might look like visuals, repetition, slower pacing, offering wait time, using gestures, having collaborative talk, and of course, having home language support. Wait time is huge. Sometimes teachers ask a question and move on after 1 second, and language learners may still be processing the vocabulary, the syntax, and if they're a multilingual learner, the translation all simultaneously. And so wait time is really important. It's really important to avoid deficit thinking. I know we talked about this last week too when we talked about multilingual learners and thinking about their skills. And what it really means to be a multilingual learner and having understanding across multiple language, across contexts. There's no room for deficit thinking. The language we use about our students really matters deeply. So, and I know I used the same example last week, but instead of saying they don't know English, rephrase that. They are developing bilingualism. They are developing language. This shift changes instruction, expectations, and relationships. All right, so academic language happens through, oh, sorry, I copied and pasted the title twice. Meaningful interaction, intentional teacher talk, scaffolding, culturally sustaining teaching, rich content experiences, and just being present with children with language and understanding how to plan thoughtfully so that children are having rich, meaningful experiences. All right, so for this week, I want you to think about an instructional move that you want to use in the future to support academic language. So be thinking of that as you are writing lesson plans, as you are planning for language across content. Be thinking about the importance of academic language and how you support that. And again, be thinking about the discourse level, the word and phrase level, and be thinking about how you can apply that in your teaching. All right, that's all for today. Thanks, everybody.